Hey, and yeah, the winds are gusting out here today. I left my microphone inside, but I'm going to try to avoid stepping out into the main winds, if I can. So anyway, let's get right to it. Yesterday we had our very first practice, What Is It Wednesday? And this was the item that I showed as a, what is it? And we had some answers. So the answers were, the first, number one was Bill M. 5433. He guessed it as a meat tenderizer, and that is correct. He was the first one to get it in. Second to get it in was Brush Boom. He said it was a meat tenderizer, and he was correct. So that was the number two. Number three was Heat Seeker Bus. Pierre got it right. He did say it was a meat tenderizer. And last, the fourth person, not the last person, because I had a few others after that, but the fourth person was Ghost Kraut. And he got it right. So those would have been the four entries for this week's What Is It Wednesday, if we were actually starting it. Now remember, we're not going to start this until the first Wednesday of November, and then it'll go through November, and then on the last Wednesday of November, or the last Thursday of November, I'll announce what the winners were, and we'll go from there. Oh, got that all said and done. All right, let me set this down over here. Another thing I did in here today was I got to looking at that shelf up there, and that shelf has always been a mess. So I'm going to start cleaning it off. I did start bringing some stuff down to here, but it's not going to stay there. That stuff is going to go all where it belongs, and everything's going to get sorted out and stacked neatly on the shelf as it needs to be, and on the shelf over here. This whole section here is going to be for just stuff that belongs here in the electric room. That's it. I did find the other meter up there, and it still works. So I hooked it up, and right now the winds are only bringing in, well, it's saying 21 volts, but it's more than that because I'm hooked up with this right now on the load side, and that's the battery side. So that's what the batteries are getting fed. So the volts max were 15.91, but it's already showing that it's 21 volts, so that's not reading correctly. I have to hook these two to where these two are. Hey, doggy daddy, leave her alone. That guy's a horn dog. He ain't nothing but a horn dog. Anyway, if it has to connect to these two, have to go here. So this is in between the battery connection. And then it'll give me the proper readings. So to do that, I have to disconnect these two wires and put them into these fittings and crimp them down. But I can't do that when the winds are blowing and I've got an output coming in from my PMA, because that could cause a problem. It could end up burning my stator. So I'm going to make sure that I wait until the next calm day or calm night or whatever it is. And I come out and I do a clip, put them in there, crimp, and then I'm fine. It shouldn't take me more than a minute or so to have that switched over when the time comes. All right. So right now we're on a Vorb, bringing in 102 volts and 233 watts. I've made 6.2 kilowatts for the day, just on that one system alone. This one is a completely different thing, but that's running my lights only inside the cabin. Now, one thing I did was Remember, I had to keep coming in and disconnecting the wire for that fan that's blowing there. Well, I made it easier. I put a switch on the wall here, marked at 12 volt DC, and I could shut it off right there. Cool. So I could turn it on and shut it off by just reaching in the door without having to come in here, open the gate, all that extra hassle. It's a lot easier this way. All right. Let me get that closed up. And I think I'm going to sneeze. A lot of wind. A lot of dust. Achoo! See? Whenever I think of something, it comes true. All right. So, the van is up here. And that's because I was doing a few things in the van today. And nothing really spectacular. But I'm working on the neighbor's bicycle battery. His e-bike. And I've had this thing charging now for 4 days on the charger. And today I made this little adapter because what I was doing was I was plugging this light fixture in and then taking my reading off of the inside of the socket here, the light socket, off of the battery to see what I had. So now I can just plug this in instead of the battery charger, and I can read what's in the battery. The battery right now is at 28 volts, and it does drop down slowly when I have the voltmeter hooked up to it. That's because the voltmeter is drawing some power out of it in order to light up the screen and give me a reading. But I'm going to let it go for another day or two and see if I can get it up any higher. And then if not, it's just trash. That's the bottom line. But from there, he'll have to put it on the bike. And if it doesn't hold a charge for very long, he should probably just ride around his own little compound and not go too far. But if it doesn't hold a charge very long and it dies down to where it won't run the bike anymore, then the battery is bad. And I know these batteries are not cheap. But that's going to be what he'll have to deal with, not what I have to deal with. I'm just doing the best I can. Now, I was going to try doing my solar panel connection on it and try charging it with just directly from the solar panels and see what I can get. Hey, who's in there? Come on. Susie Q. Outside. Yeah, so I could take those two panels, which are 15 watts apiece, but they put out 22.8 volts, I think it is, each. So if I hook those two together in series, then I'll be putting out 45 volts, which would be enough to charge that battery. Problem is, that's a lithium ion battery, not a lithium iron phosphate battery. Now the lithium iron phosphate batteries, like the watt cycles that I have in here, those have a built-in thermal runaway protection. Okay, so if for some reason I did actually puncture the battery or overcharge it, the BMS will shut it down. But if I punctured the battery, it's not going to explode and cause a fire that's going to last forever. I watched that on Will Prowse one time, where he actually took one of the cells out to his driveway and drove a screwdriver through it with a hammer, I think it was. And it just hissed and sizzled a little bit, and that was it. It didn't just burst into flames that you couldn't put out or anything like that. So I know that that's not the problem. But those lithium ion batteries now, they don't have all that protection in them, and they don't have the high voltage protection. And I'm afraid that if I connect it directly to two solar panels out in the sun, if the voltage going in is too high, there's no BMS in that battery, that could cause a thermal runaway, and I don't think I want that. Thermal runaway, a fire that you can't put out, nah, not my idea of fun. So I'm going to skip that part of the experiment. Anybody else had any experience with that, let me know. But I know that system works great on sealed lead acid batteries, but it doesn't work very well on the open cell lead acid batteries. And Susie Q, are you getting in trouble over there? The dog's got the zoomies. All right. That's enough. That's enough. No jumping up. Yeah, she's got the zoomies. She's got some extra energy she needs to burn off. She's trying to find somebody that'll zoom me around with her and give her a chase. And Midnight is still telling Doggy Daddy, no, I'm not going to mate with you. Get away from me. All right, so anyway, that's pretty much what I've got done for today. I did a little work down in the garden, and the winds are blowing again. I'm going to get the dog some fresh water here, get that taken care of, and I'm going to post right about here. Might give me another couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds. Right about here, I'll post a picture of my last night's supper, which was a chicken breast, a boneless, skinless chicken breast. And I'll show you how I cooked that up. And any of you like any of these things and you want to know the recipes, give me a notice down there below in the comment section, and I'll be glad to show you the recipes. This is G Bear signing off.